Hello and welcome back to Blackwatch Intel. My name is Crashy, and today I want to talk about the Overwatch League. So the Overwatch League starts tomorrow. I'm very excited. The skins just came out. I bought me a couple of them, and I gave away a few on stream, so super excited. Congratulations to the winners of those. But I wanted to do a predictions. Now, I'm just going to be doing wins or losses. I'm not going to predict the actual round count or map count, but I want to go ahead and go down the first week, give my predictions, and then hear what you guys are thinking yourselves. So let's look at it. Tomorrow, Wednesday, January 10th, we have the San Francisco Shock facing the Los Angeles Valiant. This one, I undeniably am going to give to the San Francisco Shock. Game number 2 for the day is going to be the Shanghai Dragons versus the Los Angeles Gladiators. I think the Gladiators are going to take this one by storm very definitively and just stomp the Shanghai Dragons. Dallas Fuel versus Seoul Dynasty, probably the best match of the entire week. I'm gonna have to give it to Seoul Dynasty, and for the sake of saying on this one, I think they'll probably only win by one map. Now, we're going to move into Thursday, the 11th, my personal favorite day and exciting day. We had the London Spitfire facing off against the Florida Mayhem. Easy win for the London Spitfire, in my opinion. Moving into the Houston Outlaws versus the Philadelphia Fusion. Gotta go for my Houston, Texas, Houston Outlaws. Houston Outlaws are going to win this one. Boston Uprising versus the New York Excelsior. This match is going to be cool because kind of the city... Boston versus New York, but I do think that the Excelsior and New York is going to take it. So, continuing down the schedule, we're about halfway done. Friday, January 12th, Los Angeles Valiant versus the Dallas Fuel. The Dallas Fuel will burn blue and take that one. When we move into the next game for Friday, will be Florida Mayhem versus the Boston Uprising. This one I think is actually going to be pretty close. I don't have enough info about these teams, and I do see them kind of on the lower side of the Overwatch League, but I want to go ahead and say that the Florida Mayhem will take this one. I think this will be a very close matchup because of the skill of the teams. Then we have the San Francisco Shock facing the Shanghai Dragons. That one, I believe, will go to the San Francisco Shock. And on the last day of the first week of the Overwatch League, we have the London Spitfire facing off against the Philadelphia Fusion. Very similar in almost every fashion that I could see for this team. The London Spitfire will be taking that match. The New York Excelsior versus the Houston Outlaws. I think this one could be a pretty close match, but I do think that the Houston Outlaws will take it. They had a pretty strong showing in the Overwatch League preseason, and the New York Excelsior has a pretty talented team, but I think that the team synergy will come out strong for the Houston Outlaws. And the last game of week 1, the Seoul Dynasty versus the Los Angeles Gladiators. I think the Gladiators will surprise people, but ultimately I think the Seoul Dynasty is going to take it. Now, I've done my predictions. I'm going to come back and watch this video when the whole week is over and see how close I was for everything. I'll probably do something like this each week, and I'll try to expand on this particular type of content. I'm also going to start jumping into more Overwatch esports related content, so maybe doing breakdowns, explaining certain pushes, analyzing compositions, and giving my thoughts and making it very opinionated on top of all, because I'm no professional. But to kind of end on this discussion, I'm pretty excited about the Overwatch League. If anybody doesn't know, my top 2 teams that I'm rooting for are the Dallas Fuel and the Houston Outlaws. I'm from Houston myself, so definitely rooting for those 2 teams. Also, Envious and Optic Gaming, the 2 teams that own those teams, or the 2 companies that own those teams, have been, esports organizations, endemic organizations that I've been following for decades. I've seen all of their teams in multiple games, so I'm very excited that they have the rosters that they have, me being a fan of FNRGFE prior to the acquisition, especially along with the addition of Mendo and Linkser. Not to mention Jake. Jake is a monster, played on Team USA in the World Cup and was a very phenomenal hitscan player. Has always been a very phenomenal hitscan player. And the Dallas Fuel being the very dominant team Envy, prior to being recruited and or changed and rebranded to the Dallas Fuel. Then they picked up my all-time favorite professional player, XQC, and a fan favorite, and one of my favorites, one of my inspirations for getting into Genji, Seagull. So really just great rosters, and they're both in Texas. For me, it's just easy picks for them. The teams that I'm I'm gonna kind of do this as a prediction for the league, I guess. Now, since this is the first video, I kind of want to make the content a little bit longer, and then in each video I'll change up the format a little bit. But the teams that I think are going to do the best, I'm gonna kind of name them and put them into a tier without making it too structured. I think that the London Spitfire, the Dallas Fuel, and the Seoul Dynasty will probably be the top 3 teams in the league. The middle teams, it's going to be pretty contested, but I think the middle teams are going to be the likes of San Francisco Shock. I think the Houston Outlaws, the New York Excelsior will be fighting in that space. And then lower down, I think we'll see the Florida Mayhem, the Boston Uprising. I think we'll see the LA Gladiators, the Valiant. A lot of these teams are going to be in the near similar position, as well as the Philadelphia Fusion if I didn't include them already. But I do think that a lot of the mid-tier and the high-tier teams are very carved out already. I would like to see a little interplay between those. Maybe the Houston Outlaws come out strong and start high up. You know, maybe the San Francisco Shock do the same. I think they're still around that mid-tier level, same with the New York Excelsior, so we'll just have to wait and see. But ultimately, I am very excited about the Overwatch League. I've been paying attention to this since it first announced. I've been arguing against the naysayers that said something like this wouldn't work. I've been supporting the teammates and, the players of my favorite teams, since it all came out, and now I'm happy to finally pick up my Houston Outlaws Genji skin to not only support my home team, but support Linkser, a professional player that I've been following for quite some time. So that's my week 1, 4 days prediction. That's kind of my tacked on kind of Overwatch League predictions and where I think the kind of rankings fall. Like I said, it was very unstructured, but I'm curious your thoughts. I do hope people of the channel are interested in Overwatch esports, are interested in the Overwatch League, because I do plan to cover it. I do plan to talk about it. So thanks for checking out this video. I appreciate it. Please don't leave without leaving a like and subscribe for future content. I appreciate it again, and I'll see you on the next video.
Do you feel your bones start shake? Do you feel the earthquake? Do you feel the fire inside of me?